Hi, welcome into our yoga practice. It's shaped by Kate. We're going to be doing wall yoga today. So go ahead and slide your yoga mat against your wall. I'll be cueing in blocks, but you don't have to use them. Or of course if you have anything around your house that just adds a little lift, that's what we'll be using them for today. Let's start out in a tabletop position. And we're just going to open up the wrist here for a moment. Just take maybe 1 or 2 circles in one direction. And then switch the other way. Good, then bring the fingertips to the edges of your mat. Find 1 or 2 ovals around your wrists. And then switch directions. Last twist, bring the fingertips towards the knees. If this is intense for you, you can just stay here or you can add those circles. Then we're gonna head straight into our cat-cows. So inhale, drop the chest and belly, lift the gaze. Stay here for your exhale, sink down into the shoulder joints. Inhale deeper, and then exhale, round the shoulders, tuck the chin, stay for your inhale, press the top of the spine into the sky. Exhale, find a deeper cat. And then on your inhale to exhale, you can find any pace or modifications. Then find tabletop. We're gonna find our puppy pose. If you have blocks, let's add a little lift, placing elbows where your hands would be. Knees walk away from palms or elbows. Toes stay tucked under. And thread your head in between your arms. Finding that open heart pose towards the ground. Finding a nice stretch in those shoulder joints. If you're wanting a deeper stretch, hug the armpits in and down towards your rib cage. It's okay if the head falls to the earth, just as long as that spine's in a nice line. There's no kinks there in the spine as you lower your head down. Go ahead and release. Find tabletop pose again in your neutral position. This time we're just going to be doing cat-cow with our upper spine, with our shoulder blades. So keep the rest of your spine in neutral position. As you inhale, drop the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Almost feel them touching. Good. Exhale, bring them away from each other. Good. These are scapular push-ups, so just moving those forward and back. Good. All right, first pose against the wall. I'm gonna bring my blocks here for support. We're gonna bring our right shin to the wall. So our toes are going to be directly stacked over our knee. Good, and we're working towards a low lunge. So if you can, slide that left foot forward and lift the body, find that low lunge. If you don't have props, remember hands can come to the knee. And if that is too intense for that knee, just go ahead and slide the knee away from the wall so you're more at an angle. Breathing deep into that right thigh. Almost finding a half split here against the wall. And then we're gonna find the other side. So we're gonna hinge back at the waist, curl the right toes under, lift the knee off the ground, extend the left leg, and press the glutes to the wall. Let your forehead drop.
So we're using our weight against us to find that half split. Good, inhale, look up, walk your hands forward, and let's find the splits up the wall. If you didn't want to use the wall, you can also just let your head or your foot hang away. You can open up those hips, eventually making your way to your forward fold. Release the head and shoulders. Those knees can be bent generously if you will. And then bend at the knees. Come back into that tabletop. Let's switch to the other side. So pressing that left shin to the wall. If you feel this stretch already here, stay here. If you want to find that low lunge, step the right foot forward. Rotate those hips forward. Remember, there's no pinching or pain, so slide that knee away from the wall if you need. Okay, finding that other side, a split pose. So hinge at the waist again, curl the left toes under, and then lift that knee away from the wall. Press both hips towards the wall. Keep hips square as you find that half split, this time opening the back side of your right leg, using your weight against you. So if your hands don't quite touch the earth, this is where it's nice to have just blocks here to raise that earth for us. Good, walk your hands forward, fold over that right leg. Let's find our splits up the wall. Finding about 2 to 3 rounds of breath, and then making our way to a forward fold. Good, you can go ahead and set those blocks just off to the sides. And then we're gonna walk our hands and feet to our first downward facing dog, pedal out the heels. Inhale to shift forward. Come onto your tiptoes. We're gonna lower down onto our belly. As you inhale, we're finding Sphinx. So slide forearms forward. Roll the shoulders back and down. Release any tension here in the lower body. And then we'll find our forearm plank. Let's keep our forearms in a number 11. So keep them parallel. Curl the toes under. On your exhale, find plank pose. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, send the hips back. Walk your toes forward. Find a dolphin modification. Good, then if you can, find downward facing dog again. So you can set your knees down, or with both arms lifting at the same time, lift forearms away, walk your hands to that wide stance for down dog. Good, inhale, right heel up to the sky. Sweep it forward for a high crescent lunge. Inhale to rise. Now, since we're doing a lot of arm work, you can keep your swords in for these next few poses. If you'd rather have your arms and swords extended, remember to find those poses. Good, find warrior one. So step that foot in, drop the heel down, warrior one. Inhale to exhale, warrior two. for our warrior two, let's find a modification. You can stay here if you'd like. We're gonna pull out our warrior shield. So bend that right arm. Left arm can stay extended or hold on to your hip. And then we're gonna hinge at the waist, heel toe that left foot forward. And then when you're ready, keep that leg bent, send the weight to your right foot, and lift the left leg off the ground. So we're still in that warrior two formation, hips are open, back foot is flexed. Back arch is still dissecting that front heel. So if I were to drop my arch down, it would touch my heel. Good, finding warrior two. And let's sweep the left fingertips forward, square hips and shoulders to the earth, find our high crescent lunge. So you can step that front foot back here if you're stepping too wide. And then finding our last warrior, float or step into warrior three. Good, go ahead and find the splits up a wall again for a half or full breath. And then come down to a forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Good, exhale, let's find that flow, step or hop into plank, shift forward. We're lowering down and lifting to that Sphinx to dolphin. This time you can skip that plank pose and head straight into dolphin. Beautiful. All right, before we head to the other side, let's set those knees down. Roll into a child's pose, up to your hero pose. We're just gonna open up the spine a bit more. So this time, I want both shins placed on the wall. Good, so we're almost taking out our lower body here. And then I want you to come down onto your forearms and find that Sphinx pose again. Remembering that only our Sphinx pose is in our upper spine. Good. And then if your elbows kind of hiked forward like mine did, make sure those elbows are directly under your shoulders. And then we're gonna press back into our half dolphin, or even like a puppy pose. So you're gonna lift the belly off the ground, press the glutes towards your heels, and then inhale, come into Sphinx. You can switch each pose with your half breath, or if you need to stay there longer and do this slower, you can find a different cadence. Good, let's find one more. And then let's just release here, find a counter pose, set the forehead on stacked hands. You can let the knees sway left to right. Good, then when you're ready, make your way back to that down dog. Let's head to the other side. So inhale, left heel up to the sky, keep those hips square. Sweep forward, low lunge to high crescent lunge. Step it down to your warrior one. Hips are trying to square forward even though they're open here. Adjust to your warrior two. Front heel aligns with that back arch. Tailbone faces the earth. Option to stay here, or let's find that warrior two with our shield. Right arm can stay extended or come to your hip. Heel toe that back foot forward. Hinge at the waist. Bring body weight forward. And then maybe you lift that heel off the ground. Flex the foot just like you would in warrior two. Maybe you extend the other arm. Keep hips open. Good, then find warrior two again. Inhale to shift everything forward. High crescent lunge, exhale to warrior three. Good, find that flow. So we're finding our splits up the wall to our forward fold. And then to that Sphinx flow, to our dolphin. Take your time if you need. From here, let's try that dolphin to down dog. So press all the fingertips and the palms directly in the mat. Exhale, press both elbows up. Walk them out 1 or 2 steps. Okay, then from our down dog, we're gonna find a forward fold, kind of more closer to the back of your mat. Let that release. Inhale to a halfway lift. Bring the toes together. We're going to sweep it back into a warrior three. So let's bring the weight to our right foot. And then step it back. If you stepped too far back, then just step that right foot forward. You don't have to use the wall for a warrior three. You can even just let the toes hang there. And then we're going to twist 90 degrees twice. So we're going to do 180 total. This time I just want you to twist 180 and then find a fold. So you're almost finding Prasarita Padottanasana pose here on the wall. And if you can't quite touch the ground, that's where the block here is nice to use. Good, then shift that weight over onto the right leg. Try to do this as slow as you're able. Bring the weight or bring the foot off the wall and slowly lower down to a half lift. Beautiful. So you can keep hands on a block. If you don't have a block, hands around your ankle, or sorry, just a right hand. We're gonna just shift that weight again onto our right foot and then lift the left leg off the ground. Good, wrap left fingers around the left big toe. And then let's tuck the knee into our chest. We're gonna find our extended fire hydrant pose. You can stay here if you'd like, or think about stomping that left leg into the wall. Trying to keep both feet parallel still. Good. Go ahead and release into a fold. Good, now let's finish off that twist here. So bring the left foot back to the wall. Try to bring it there as slow as you're able. And then we're gonna twist another 90 degrees coming upright. So now that left leg's against the wall. And then we're just gonna fold over that leg, finding a nice stretch. If you're feeling balanced, that forehead can fall on your shin and even close your eyes. If you're not feeling very balanced today, even hands can come to the wall. Good, then go ahead and release that foot down. And since we're here against the wall, we're gonna find a flow against the wall. So hands are a little bit underneath the shoulder joints. And then you're gonna sweep the hips back, find a downward facing dog. So broaden those shoulders. Notice how your weight maybe affects your downward facing dog. So since our weight is away from our hands, we can really find that true form. Good, inhale, shift forward, find a plank pose. Shift onto your tiptoes. If you feel like you're too far back, step a few steps forward. And then exhale, lower down. So find that chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing dog. Exhale back to down dog. Good, go ahead and just press the hands away from the earth. Find a forward fold. Walk it back to face the front of your mat. Finding the other side. So inhale to a halfway lift. This time that weight comes to that left foot. Find warrior three, right toes, find the wall. Good, go ahead and rotate 90 degrees. And then when you're ready, fold over. If you need to readjust or find blocks, you can find a block. Really opening up those inner thighs. Then as slow as you're able, shift weight onto your left foot. Slowly bring the right leg down to your half lift to fold. And come to your half lift, wrapping your left hand around your ankle. Shift that weight onto that left foot, pick up the right foot off the ground, hook the right fingers around the big toe, tuck your knee into your chest. Maybe you just stay here, or try stomping that right foot to the side wall. Right leg doesn't have to extend all the way. Maybe it does. Come out of this pose the same way you came in. If you feel like you just got there, stay there. Let's finish off this rotation. So as slow as you're able, sweep that right leg to the wall. Find a half lift and then rotate 90 degrees now facing the wall. Hinge at the waist, fold over. Find your balance. And go ahead and release. Let's find that flow on the wall. So press hands wide here. Find your downward facing dog. Be mindful that our head tends to kind of tuck under and our chest falls through our shoulders. Down dog is very stable. Our shoulders are broad. Tailbone is reaching back. Ears in line with the biceps. Good. Inhale to shift forward. Find your plank pose. Come onto your tiptoes. Exhale. Find that chaturanga pose. Inhale to your upward facing dog. Exhale, lower back down to down dog. Good. Press palms away. Fall into a fold. And then let's set the glutes down. We're gonna face the wall. Find soles of the feet against your support system here. And we're just gonna line our palms up next to our hips. Roll the shoulders back and down. Think about stacking the shoulders and hips. And then wherever your hands are, we're gonna place that opposite elbow there. So you're gonna bend the knees, twist over. Where your hand was, your elbows are gonna come down. And then you're gonna line the opposite elbow against or next to it. Good, bring the toes to the wall. And then we're gonna lift our hips up, find our dolphin pose. If you wanted to walk up, walk your feet up so they're in line with your hips. And then maybe you lift one leg off the ground. And then maybe you sort of hop those toes off of the wall to find dolphin pose. Taking a break when you need. And then switching whichever leg you'd like to come up next. So let's try that again.
Beautiful. If you still are needing practice, we warmed up a lot, so take your time practicing. You can even pause this video if you feel like I'm moving along too quickly. Take your much needed break. So just like as if we were lifting weights in the gym, we take about 20 to 50 seconds in between each rep. So remember just to consider that as you're practicing these arm balances, especially something as intense as a dolphin. All right, when you're ready, we're just gonna cross our arms and we're gonna find a cross-body child's pose. So it doesn't matter which arm is stacked over the other, we'll switch sides here and just let that chin fall on your biceps. If child's pose is uncomfortable for you, you can also do this on your belly, and it's actually a little bit more weight. Good, inhale to rise and switch arms. Really let the body hang heavy here over your arms and knees, sinking into the earth. Okay, go ahead and rise. This is the end of your practice. Thank you so much for watching and doing yoga together. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you're headed into Savasana, we're going to take a wall pose here since we are against the wall. Just to scoop those hips as close as you can just rock side to side till those hips touch the wall, and then extend the legs. Really just letting that weight fall onto your hips, also known as waterfall pose. Notice where your hands fall naturally, so for some of you on your belly, on your side, or maybe you even extend the arms above your head. Taking our final 3 breaths into Savasana. Make any final adjustments. If you at all feel like the blood rushes down too much, you can always bend your knees in this pose. I leave you here in Savasana. Alright, go ahead and open those eyes. Those legs are still extended. Drop them to your chest.
Roll on to your favorite side, finding a fetal position. Finding about 1 to 3 rounds of breath. And then finding a seated position. Hands coming to heart center. Sending gratitude towards yourself for finding strength and balance and confidence. Bowing forward as respect to your yoga as a whole. Namaste.